Introduction. In this video series, we're going to explore one of the easiest and fastest ways to learn and practice a piece of music for the classical guitar. This means learning how to practice in the most efficient way possible. There are a total of 6 lessons. So far, we've done 4, and now we're going to conclude this series with lessons 5 and 6 combined. Purpose. It is my intention in this video series to do 6 lessons and then put them all together in one long continuous video, which will eventually become a small lesson book. Background. In the previous lessons, we covered the process of how to learn a piece of music perfectly. You can click on that link in the upper right-hand corner to watch those videos. These lessons were derived from a previous work written by Louis Gehring. His lesson was one of many that were published in 1980 in a book called Guitar Masterclass, compiled and edited by Rinald J. Sherrod. We've already covered step 1 all the way to step 4 of these lessons. Now we're going to move on to the last, which is how to practice phrases out of context. This would be steps 5 and 6 combined. Louis Gehring. Practice phrases out of context. After the entire work has been learned thoroughly and memorized, phrases should be practiced out of context of the piece. This is especially useful for compositions that do not lend themselves to easy division into phrases, e.g., fugal writing. Practice the last phrase of this piece or of a major section by memory, then the next to the last, and so on, moving from the end forward. Practice similar phrases together so that there will be no confusion under the pressure of performance. Additional techniques you can also practice without looking at the fingerboard or study away from the instrument by mentally recalling all movements of the hands, left-hand positions, bar codes, fingerings, and right-hand strokes. Fingerings, string changes. The practice. Lagrima is a piece of music that was written by the classical guitar composer Francisco Tárrega with a tempo of 84 beats per minute. Welcome to the practice portion of this video, where I'm going to demonstrate the idea of practicing phrases out of context. So we're looking at Francisco Tárrega's piece here, Lagrima, and we're going to choose at random some phrases out of context and attempt to play them. Hopefully you've already practiced and perfected this, so this point should be fairly easy. So let's take a look at one phrase here. Let's take a look at this one here where my cursor is at, and this is the E minor section of the piece. So we're going to start with that one, just sort of out of context. So we're just going to play it through the end of the phrase. So it goes something like this. So we just practice it like... Okay, something like that. Okay, and then let's choose another one now. And don't forget to practice that perfectly, not like the way I did it. But here is another phrase you can do out of context. This one back in the E major section. And this is also toward the end. So just practice it, as you would normally. So it goes something like... Okay, that was part 1 of practicing the phrases out of context. And that helps to conceptualize the piece of music a lot easier and isolate certain sections you might have trouble with. Another example of practicing out of context is maybe practicing in the reverse order. So starting from the end of the piece, we'll start at the end here of the Dies Fine, the ending of the E minor section. So practice this backwards. So we'll start with this phrase. You could practice it literally backwards like that, or just play it forward but backward like this. And continue on. Okay, etc., etc. And then continue on to the end of the beginning of the piece here. So again, recap. Choose a phrase or section of a piece of music, any piece of music, and practice it out of context. In this case, we chose the E minor section here, where my cursor is at there. And then we chose here in the E major section, that phrase. That also will help you identify the similarities and differences between sections, because sometimes sections will repeat from another section, but it might be a little bit different. There might be slight variations. Like, for example, a Bach would be a good example, a Bach prelude or a fugue. Sometimes it's very difficult to memorize and differentiate each section. So a good way to do that was doing like this. Practice it out of context. Practice phrase A. It may be similar to phrase D. So practice A and D back to back so you can know the difference, and it will help you. And don't forget to memorize these. Have them already memorized so you can just refer to them very quickly. Okay, section C, it goes like this, and then section F goes like that, and then you practice them back to back. So you have them memorized and do that. And also, this is very helpful for kinds of music that are like serial composition or very like 12-tone compositions that don't have really clear tonal structures or tonal centers, but something that can be demarcated by sections A, B, C, D, for example. So that's also very helpful in this case, or in any of those other cases. Okay, so I hope that was helpful. Final thoughts and conclusion. So let's recap all the previous lessons, including this one. We must first determine the phrase or sections of a piece of music, i.e., what is a phrase, then apply the easiest possible right hand and left hand fingerings. Then we put all that to practice. Finally, we practice the phrases or sections out of context. Don't forget to show all of your work on the music so you can easily follow the roadmap of the piece. Don't skimp on anything. I hope you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with others. See you in the next video.